We're so happy, and the other folks are going to join us in no time. We're going to keep pressing forward, guys. Good to have each and every one of you here with us. Great to have you folks here with us. I see Anthony, as I said, and Annette, I see Isabella, and all the other folks, guys. You're joining us. Drop a comment there. We give you guys a quick shout out. Good to see each and every one of you. We love having you guys. Lots to share with you guys this morning. Lots to share with you guys. We're not going to waste too much time in the preamble. I shouldn't say waste too much. We're not going to spend too much time in the preamble. But I'm so happy that you guys are here with us. Do let us know what the weather is doing at your end, guys, and perhaps what's on the menu for breakfast. And in this kitchen of ours, guys, in the new year, we're definitely going to be doing some more cooking. I don't know if the guys can just tap weather there for us so we can see what the weather is saying outside. And guys, just tap in there weather for us too, please. Help you. just tap it in there for us. And let's see what's happening where we are, where the weather is concerned. Feels somewhere around 28, 31 degrees outside. What about where you folks are joining us from? How is the weather at your end? Do let us know. Do let us know. Guys, just tap the weather for us, please. Thanks. Just tap it in there for us. And so we can get a sense of what's happening on the outside. We should have had it set, but, you know. So we're so excited to see out front parts and Vanessa De Silva here and Carol Rollins and some of the other folks who have joined us. Guys, thanks for coming over with us. Good to see more and more of you, guys. I know it's going to take some getting used to because you guys, some of you are not so familiar with YouTube, but we're here, you're here, and all is well with the world. We're happy about that. You are here, we are here, and all is well with the world. Good folks, good to see you. I see Carol Rollins and Vanessa De Silva out front parts. It's not good morning, neighbor. It's good morning, FYI family. What do you have for breakfast today? What did you have for breakfast? Vanessa says Linden is cold. Linden is cold. Vanessa, I'm due for visiting Linden. Hope I see you when I pass through. I am due for visiting Linden. Some things are happening there. The guys have asked us to keep our eyes on. Yeah, believe it or not, and we're going to be coming back to that. We're going to be coming back to that. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for the weather. All right, thanks for the weather. And here, on that other screen, tap in weather at the top there for us. We'll be so grateful. Look on our other screen across the other side. Technicians do it the most. Using the keyboard and just tap in weather. Good. Thanks very much. There it is. It's that kind of Tuesday morning, folks. It's that kind of Tuesday morning. It's 26 degrees outside. You see, I was a little off. I was thinking 28, between 28 and 31. Weather.com, our favorite place for the weather, is telling us it's 28 degrees outside. And 28 degrees outside with a 24% chance it's going to rain. So if you're in the national capital city and its general environs, you're going to want to walk with your umbrella today. Or your raincoat. Good to see more and more. Says that Wickenham is listening and it's raining. Wickenham is a beautiful place, folks. And I wish that more of us get a chance to see places like Wickenham. Beautiful, quiet island. The kind of place you build a nice little lochi down by the riverside and you spend the remainder of your days. Isabella says it's 33 degrees in Brooklyn. Wow. Is that good weather for you? It might sound great to us, but is it good weather for you? Good to see you there. And I see Mavis Davis Wells joining from Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah. She says good weather in Trinidad. Good to have you, Mavis and JG. Haven't seen JG for a little while. How are you doing there, JG? Do let us know how you're doing there. Please, I haven't seen JG for a little bit. And then we have, of course, out front parts telling us that in North Florida, right? North Florida, it's in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. Temperatures across North Florida. Yeah. Is that good for you? Is that good for you? And then we have Tessa Isaacs Graves-Andy, who is joining us, guys, from Orlando. Believe it or not, Tessa Isaacs Graves-Andy joining us from Orlando. Wow, we're so happy. We got to see some more of these places. I'm sure the technical guys will agree with us, right? Given the right invitation, because when we come to Orlando, we can't stay on the bridge. Wink, wink. Given Give me the right invitation. We'd like to come and see Orlando, you know. It's due for the, you know, y'all come this side, we can let you all see where we are, and you all pull up a chair right next to us and enjoy the program. Up close and personal. Yeah. We can't just land in Orlando. You know, we gotta get an invitation. That's how we do things. And Isabella is saying the weather to her is not such good weather. It's very cold. You have to bundle up. Yeah. Gotta bundle up. I could imagine you, Isabella, in all your layers. In all your layers. Guys, we're happy that you folks are here with us. We are ready to get right to it. Good to see Penelope Grant is joining us. Penelope, good to see you. Guys, drop us a comment. Let's see who's on with us. You know, we give you guys a quick shout out and move things along. Drop us a comment. If you're peeping, you're in the government work or you're frightened, them boys, you won't want to say nothing. But we understand. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to get to from one day to another in this country. You got to do what you got to do, folks. Yeah, we understand. We ain't going to row with nobody. We ain't row with nobody, guys. Great to see each and every one of you. And we are happy you're here. And again, we apologize. We know you're going to take some getting used to. Folks are accustomed to us being on Facebook, and I could imagine some folks right now saying, "And then come on, yet I ain't see the notification or what have you." But here we are, and I feel a little more cozy here. I don't know, is it a mental thing? I don't know. You know, we out in the hustle and bustle. That is Facebook, and it's just us. It's just us here, folks. JG, it's just us here. Yeah. JG said things are going well. And we're so happy for you. Folks, we hope that you guys are choosing to end the year on a strong note. You know, we started the year on a feisty note, folks. Pace and power. That has been our theme for this entire year. You know, suggest a theme for us for 2023, folks. Suggest a theme for us. Yeah, it has been a year of pace and power. It has been a year of pace and power. Been locked up twice, you know, and y'all know the rest. Y'all have been there to get ball by ball commentary. Y'all know the rest, folks. Y'all know all of it. But I'm so happy that you guys are here. I really feel like as though we've come a little closer now that we are all alone on YouTube and we're away from prying eyes. We're on the tube, folks. We're on the tube, and guys, we're happy you're here with us. Really and truly, I feel happy. Happy you guys are here with us. Sheila Boy Child is here. And Sheila's boy child says, 50 this morning. Is that degrees? Is that degrees hot? Do let us know. Welcome, folks. Wherever you're joining us from. I don't see Candy as yet. I don't see Beatrice as yet. Where are these folks? Where? Guys, I'm happy that you are here. Right? I'm happy. Y'all are important to us. Right? That's why being Candy and the other folks are important. But we're happy that we're here. And as I was saying before, Sheila Boychild so rudely interrupted me. Let us choose to end this year on a very high note and end the year strong. We started it strong. Let's end it strong. I hope you folks made some money this year. And when you look at your hopes, your dreams, aspirations, and all those things, hope you're a little bit closer to realizing all of them. And if not, we start planning again for 2023 and how we're going to try to achieve more of that. But good to see you folks. Paul Henriquez. Am I calling that correctly? Good to have you, Paul. Good to see you, Paul Henriquez. Yep. Good to have Paul here. Sheila Boyd Child, all the other folks are joining us. Good to have you guys. We gotta get to meet up, you know. We gotta get a link up. We gotta organize a link up this new year, 2023. We gotta organize a link up. I'm so happy that you folks are here with us. And of course, we got couple of things we want to share with you. Welcome to FYI, folks. For your information, we got a couple of things we want to share with you. You very special people. Yep. As we head into the morning papers, folks. Lots of things happening. Whether at home here in Ghana or somewhere around the world. Lots and lots of things are happening. Lots of things are happening. Yep. Lots of things are happening. Do feel free to share the stream back to YouTube. Share the stream back to WhatsApp. Share the stream back to Facebook as well, folks. You can still do that. Yolanda Thomas has arrived. Good to see Yolanda Thomas. And good to see Ayabo Congress is here with us. And Ayabo says, good afternoon. Y'all know where Ayabo is? Anybody know where Ayabo is? Which part of the world Ayabo is? Ayabo says, good afternoon. And we know why. We ain't going to tell you. We can leave you guys to figure that one out. Ayabo is saying good afternoon. Well, good afternoon. Right back to you. Imagine Ayabo's in the future. Guys, put up the morning papers for us. Ayabo's in the future. Ayabo's already seen what the afternoon is looking like. Has already seen that and we're in the past. Scrambling. I love that. You know, God in his infinite wisdom created this world like that. Ayabo is where she is, and she's already seen the afternoon. You see? She's already seen the afternoon papers. And we can catch up with some of those headlines later on. Yeah, Ayabo don't have lunch on lockdown. Well, we technical guy, he don't have lunch too. But we can talk about that. He done lash out lunch already. I know he's them churn and go to school. Yeah. 10 o'clock can be lunch finished. Right? We can tell you wife though. Mrs. He done lash out the lunch. Good to have you folks here. Isabella Butchers and Out Front Pass. Great to have Loretta Argyle is here. Please and thank you. Stop the clock. Loretta is here. The one and only Loretta Argyle is here. Could not ask a better audience. Merry Christmas to you. I see Loretta says Merry Christmas. Yeah. That too, Loretta. That too. And Dolly Anderson is here. Dolly is here as well. Did I see Claire Alexis? Charmly rich one. Did I see Claire? Did Claire just show up? Please and thank you. So happy to have Claire here. So happy. Claire, how are you doing? Have you signed on to work as yet? You know, Claire, like so many of you, has the privilege. Should I talk about Claire business? I don't know if I should talk about. You know, I didn't ask her permission to talk to business, so let me leave it so. Right? Let me leave it so. But I'm happy. Claire, the coin bust out your bag now. Claire, good to see you. What's the breakfast this morning? How has the day started? Do let us know. And here is Candy Joyce. Candy, how are you? But look who else joining me. The songstress herself, the psalmist herself, Christelle Pratt. You know, Christelle is Guyanese, living in the diaspora, like many of you. Just got married, enjoying married life and all of that. Christelle is a fantastic singer. And I dare say, an international gospel artist. She's Guyanese, folks, and she has a tremendous talent, tremendous gifting. And I wish she come by, you know, and do something for us a good morning. Join us live a morning and do something for us. She'd bless you, especially that it's Christmas, you know, because she's family, especially that is, I say outside child in the family. Right, Crystal, good morning to you. Good morning, Crystal. I'm so happy you were here. Merry Christmas to you and the family. Season's greeting, Happy New Year and happy birthday one time. Right, happy Easter too, just in case. But Crystal, good to see you. Good to see you, Crystal. Good to see you. Fantastic person. Tracy Clark is here too, guys. Tracy Clark is here. Bring us back. Hold on this morning, people. So many folks are joining us. Folks, I'm so encouraged, right? Claire Alexis saying, listen to me. Hold on. Claire, are you home? Right? Are you home for the holidays? Claire, do let us know. There is no place like home. Yeah, Kristen. My killer off is the truth. The truth. Well, Claire says she's having tennis shoulder and cheese. That's why I'm asking Claire if she's home. Folks, when I was in Atlanta a couple of months ago, well, it's a lot of months ago, it was 1 year ago, last November, it's more than a year, right? They took me to this place that they sell a lot of Guyanese stuff. And there it was on the shelf there, tennis shoulder and cheese. You know Guyanese different? Hold on. Guyanese different. How they say I want betterment? Right? You're gone foreign. And these people hunting down tennis shoulder and cheese. They want Guyanese sugar. Folks, they throw a brick over me. They said to this place, you know. This 2x4. Don't even bring me home for bury me. No, don't do it. But I left. But it took me into this little place, kind of like on the outskirts of, as you know, driving into Atlanta from South Carolina end. I don't know if you have another way you can get to Atlanta, but from that end, you know, this store, you know, not too big of a store, but you get your tennis shoulder, just like home, it could be a shop around the corner. It could be a shop around the every little thing. You got your plantain, you this, you got your what do you call it? Your Bigfoot, everything right there. And there's my relatives from in the Carolinas. They carry home tennis shoes. I want a little I happen, but I drop, and they worry about tennis shoes. You see, they worry about tennis shoes. Somebody tells she bring a bag of tennis shoes and they're coming back and some things. Tennis shoes. Look, give me the pizza in my chest, yeah? Tennis shoes and bread. Y'all try with that. Y'all try. Claire said, I know Claire's in the diaspora. Claire says she's having tennis shoes and cheese, but you try that. You try that. Bring me my omelette, please. Please and thank you. But good to have all of you here. I see Jacqueline is here with us, and Bennett Anderson, Ayabo, and Isabella Button. Leslie Charles is here too, guys. Good to see each and every one of you. Y'all get along. You know, I hope the Jagabats don't show up here. So, great confusion. Lacho and Leon and the rest of them. I hope they ain't getting noticed. I am hoping them boys didn't get it noticed. Yep, I really hoping they get it noticed. But good to have each and every one of you here with us, guys. It's a privilege. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to have you guys. And let's have a move on now with the morning papers. What do we have, folks? Do tell us. Pray tell. What do we have this morning? Pray tell. What are we dealing with today, folks? What are we dealing with today? Yep. First up, in the morning papers, we are talking about the fire chief has some advice for us. Believe it or not, the fire chief, and this is advice that is needed because a lot of folks locally wiling up. a lot of people wiling up. And the fire chief is urging all of us is warning against desist from unsafe practices during Christmas. You know, we've lost one of our countrymen who tried to put up a Christmas tree. I think this was in Commons Lodge and got electrocuted. Yep. And then the week after that, or a couple of days after that, we lost a couple going into the yard in success and stepped on some electrical wires. That didn't end nicely at all. And this morning, in this morning's paper, the big headline, Fire Chief warns against unsafe practices during Christmas season. Right? And this is according to Acting Fire Chief Gregory Wickham. Says, desist from these unsafe practices. And in a quotation attributed to him, it says, be very careful in the use of electricity so that you do not overload the electrical circuits, that you do not leave cooking unattended. You all hearing that? Don't leave cooking unattended. Leslie, Crystal, Gwyneth, Joy, Pamela, Joy. Don't leave cooking unattended. That you do not run the drop cord under the carpet. Oh, this is a famous one. Right? You hit a nerve here. Run the drop cord under the carpet because those will lead to fire. I know lots of people too go to bed and leave the fairy lights on. I really think about that one. As if some little malfunction, the wires overheat or something like that. You sleeping and you don't know the Christmas tree on fire, among other things. Right? But of course, I can't blame you. People like Shaw. The fairy lights and so on is whole night, the blinking and so forth. So, but you got to be careful with that too. I personally, I'm a little cautious with that. Leaving the fairy lights going whole night while you sleep. Right? A little cautious with that, but again, Gregory Wickham, the acting fire chief, says you got to be careful this season. Go the extra mile to exercise caution and stay away, guard against unsafe practices during the Christmas season. Fire chief for you, Gregory Wickham. Well, the news goes a little downhill from there. Let me just warn you. A devil has been sentenced. The devil, has been sentenced. And folks, if there is any truism in the fact that you have to be careful with names, name you give your children and so on. I'm not in favor of call names, believe it or not. Right? I am not in favor of call names at all. Right? And I always say, your parents took the time to give you a name. There's your name. Right? This also known as and so on. I was at New Opportunity Corps, not as an inmate, unfortunately, not as an inmate, but I was doing some work with a colleague there with the students of the New Opportunity Corps. And I remember hearing the children calling another student there, hey. But the way they were calling it was different You know how we say to people colloquially here, hey, come. But that wasn't how they call it. So I said, what is the boy's name? They said, that's his name. This guy A. Folks, guys, it's different. You know, that's what they were calling it. As though he had a first name and a last name. Right? Like A. Smith. Hey boy, that's how we said. Hey boy. Right? That's they end up calling him A. Now, this other story can tell you. Right? You gotta be careful with names. Let's call this fellow here Devil. Right? And the devil has now been sentenced to life for raping a girl with disability. You see that? You grew up, people call you devil. Now you start doing devilish things and they send you to hell. Because that's where he's going. You think that's the Marian, the senator? No. Devil sentenced to life. Now his real name is Rondell Capel. Rondell Capel, and according to the report we have, well, they're saying here he has the possibility of parole in 20 years. That's if you become an angel on the inside, right? The possibility of parole in 20 years for brutally raping at knife point a 15-year-old girl with disability. A 15-year-old girl with disability, and in November last month, a jury found him guilty of engaging in sexual penetration with a teen between September 5th and 6th of 2020. Yep, believe it or not, devil, going to hell. Life imprisonment, a girl with disability, folks. You know, I always say, I know Crystal have been out, and some of you have been out a little while, and you don't know too much what's happening back home, folks. Remember we used to talk about Lambert Street? Right? Well, Lambert Street changed now. And then we used to talk about King Street by the cathedral. Folks, it's only in this country you can say by the cathedral and you know the whole story. The whole 100-page of the whole 200-page of this novel. You don't read in a one statement. Right? Like you walk by the cathedral, you know everything. Like you walk by the cathedral. Right? Well, that whole thing there has changed. Now the cathedral runs from, I would say, St. Road in North Road right down to the cathedral. Right? That's the length and breadth of it now. And the complexion is high complexion. If you're dark, you can't make it out there. No. Business work is stiff for you. It's some high complexion. Right? They come from across the border and they out-manage you in your country. High complexion out there. But I say that to say this particular story here. Now, if you price right, and you see this hard guava season, I think the folks who apply the trade out there will give you a knockoff price. Right? You can go and have a nice time, but you're going to rape a 15-year-old with disability. Right? None of it matters. 15-year-old, period. Right? But a 15-year-old with disability too. Right? No, that's something else. That's something else. You could go and you could, do any number of jobs. You get a little small piece and you go and have a nice time. If that's all you want spending money on, more power to you. Right? More power to you. Right? I'm just making the point that you can have a news. Right? If you can't get it because of your looks and whatever else, you could pay for it. You could buy your hair if it won't grow, you could pay for it for benefit. But 15-year-old, that one is a little tough. So life imprisonment with the possibility of parole after 20 years. Yeah. And then it gets worse. I told you, the things that are making the headline on this 20th day of December, a little tough. Another one, and this is this headline here says to us, a man gets 14 years for raping a sleeping woman. And this is Rudolph Williams called Stewart. Rudolph Williams called Stewart, 14 years for raping a sleeping woman. Right? And she at the time was 22 years old. And he entered her home. The report says while she slept. Right? And again, he was found guilty last month as well. And he set up committed this act against the victim September 29th to 30th, 2021. Between that space of time, just last year. Reports said that the victim awoke during this ordeal, raised an alarm, and Williams was arrested and later charged. Yep. Believe it or not. So another one. What's happening in this place, man? Right? That's it, you know. That's it, just like that. And you know what? The sad part is, these girls are going to be traumatized for the rest of their lives. Right? Because I think it's a sickness, honestly, this whole thing about rape and, you know, and all of that. I think it's a sickness. And other things mixed in there. Right? We could go to on the spiritual side of the spectrum. It's the devil in them. It's the devil in devil and Rudolph. Right? But these young ladies are going to be traumatized, and we hope that they get the necessary help to help them to move forward. We hope that they continue to get the necessary help so they can go on to live productive lives. You know, one act in a moment in time is going to affect them for the rest of their lives. Right? No thanks to these jerks. Right? You got Rondell Capel in one instance, and then Rudolph Williams in another instance. And remember yesterday we were talking about the Cybercrime Act that the administration says that they're going to be repealing. Remember we were talking about that? The Cybercrime Act. The current administration says they will be repealing. Well, the WPA, the Working People's Alliance, have said, well then, you know, the AG needs to advise the police to review the charges against citizens. Like yours truly, for instance, because I've been charged under the Cybercrime Act. So the WPA, if the law is going to be outlawed, it's going to be struck down, it's going to be changed, then the people who are now captured under that legislation, that has to be looked at. And I think it's a very apt call by the Attorney General. I did tell you, this seems to be the tool of choice. You know, here is the administration telling us that it's not good law. And they want to modernize. I think that's the phrase that they used when we first shared the story with you yesterday. They want to modernize the law, right? And yet, it seemed to be their tool of choice. And many social activists, political activists have been charged, you know, and Dr. Versami Ramaya from Region 6 comes to mind readily, among other folks who've been charged on the Cybercrime Act. So that you say something on the Facebook that folks don't like, that's what they do. You say something on Facebook that, you know, people feel, what is the phrase that they use? It caused them mental distress, mental, emotional distress. Right? You say you like curry, somebody's offended by that. Everybody's so thin-skinned these days. If I am to bring a lawsuit, everybody who disagreed with me or called me name or said something disparaging about me, I can spend the rest of my life rolling up a court step. But it's the age in which, especially locally in Guyana, I don't know where you, I think you all are more tough-skinned than folks in the diaspora, right? And freedom of speech means just that. Of course, you're going to try to be respectful of people and all of that. But soon as people find you disagree with them and you say, oh, this person is a curly face, they feel emotional distress. When did we become so thin-skinned as a people? When? The amount of names, folks, my first name is Sherrod. Right? You know the variations of that. I've been called in these 4 years I've been on this earth. You know the variations of that. Of which the chief is Sharon. You know, I'm abusing young people every day. You know, on that we become so thin-skinned. Shucks, what happened to the days with sticks and stones may break my bones, but words can never harm me. Jesus have mercy. Everybody's a thin-skinned out here. Thin skin out here. So I'm happy to see WPA says now, if you're going to outlaw this piece of legislation, the Cybercrime Act, then we got to review the persons who are currently charged under the act. Under the act, we got to review that. Good, we got to review that. So that's something that we're going to be following. It is something we are going to be following, folks, and we're going to turn our attention now to what's happening on the international news. That's where we're going to turn our attention in just a bit. But those are some of the things we're following on the morning papers, folks. First up, if you're now joining us, we touched on the fact that the fire chief says he wants you to stay away from unsafe practices during Christmas. I know a lot of y'all getting besides yourself, for Christmas. A lot of y'all getting besides yourself for Christmas. We saw y'all shopping in town. We saw lots of you in town shopping. Folks, take it easy. We got to make it to the new year. We got to make it to don't eat yourself, below ground, right? And don't decorate yourself below ground either. Some of y'all, every square inch got to be covered in lights, right? The fire chief says, be careful. Be careful. And then we touched on the fact that you had devil sentenced to life for raping girl disability. Possibility of parole in 20 years. Then we had, and he's better known as Rondell Capel, he's better known as Devil. And then we had this fellow who raped the sleeping woman, Rudolph Williams, 14 years. Right? And then the WPA has some advice for the AG. Review these folks who are charged under this notorious Cybercrime Act. Very, very notorious. Folks, we turn attention to what's been happening internationally. The Netherlands. Some good news out of the Netherlands, folks. And take a look at this. Warren Figueroa, Tracy Clark, Will Anderson. Take a look at this. What's been happening on the international front with the Netherlands. And I really say respect and manners there. Mark Rutte, the Netherlands Prime Minister, has apologized for the role of the Dutch state in slavery. Really and truly, respect and manners on this front. Respect and manners on this front. Right? It is a sign of maturity, plain and simple, when you can apologize. A real sign of maturity. And those of you who have been out here a little while, sometimes you ain't even around, but you apologize to keep the peace. To keep the peace. And so we find very, very encouraging what Mark Rutte has said, apologizing. He says recently, today I apologize. And this was a nationally televised speech. We're being advised. A nationally televised speech. Today I apologize. For centuries, right? For centuries, the Dutch state and its representatives have enabled and stimulated slavery and have profited from it. Now, this is this party profited from it. We got to circle back to, right? We got to circle back to. He went on to say, it is true that nobody alive today bears any personal guilt for slavery. The Dutch state bears responsibility for the immense suffering that has been done to those that were enslaved and their descendants. Right? And it is said here also in the notation, the apology comes amid a wider reconsideration of the country's colonial past, including efforts to return looted art and its current struggle against racism. This is a really big move. A really, really big move. And if it comes from a place of sincerity, all the more. Now, I said we got to circle back to the part about them profiting from it, because when we talk about that, guys, then we got to start talking now about reparations. According to one fellow that is notorious, rapper. We're going to start you profit from it. We are poorer because of slavery. But you profited from it. Mia Mills, thanks for that contribution, Mia. Mia Mills, I see that contribution. Thank you so much. It's going to help us. Thank you so much, Mia. You profited from it. So can we talk about rapper? Let me talk about the real thing. Could we talk about reparations? Please and thank you. Could we? Huh? Anytime now. Could we talk about reparations? All right, so he has advanced the first action, which is tremendously commendable. We got to follow through now. Because as you know, right, colonialism was meant to transfer wealth from the colonies to the mother country. You know, gold and timber, bauxite and so on that built Britain. Right? And for you who are joining us, I hope you all know that we were once led by the Dutch too. I think they've had their greatest influence in places like Suriname and so on, but we were once ruled by the Dutch. You know, I see some people out there saying they wish we still ruled by the Dutch, but that's another story. Because 50 years later, self-governance, like it didn't do too much for me. Like, thanks guys. Like self-governance, you know, 50 plus years later, it didn't put me in a better stead. See, some people said, put me back on the Dutch, put me back on the UK, right? Self-governance is a thing by itself. I want you to know that. It's a thing by itself. A lot of people run out, you know. And you and I know this. When we were younger, oh yes, we thought when we were 20, we could run out from mommy house and make it. And then when the world braced we want to run him back. Right? Self-governance, little thing with we. Right? But you know what? You know what's the sad part of this? I know they had lots of countries who ruled by the Dutch, the British, whoever, and their influence is so profound. You know, we don't talk Dutch here, right? Our second language is Creole, right? If we got a first language, we don't talk Dutch. You know, some countries who have the Dutch influence speak Dutch, parts of, you know. Maybe you live close to the border in some areas, maybe, perhaps. But again, big move by Mark Rutte. Apologize for the Dutch state's role in slavery. Big move. Yep, big move on that front. Big move on that front. In additional news, folks, we're coming in now around the region. We're picking up some stuff coming from around the region. Folks, Candy just showed up. You know Candy we completed this morning. Right? Don't do it again, Candy. I don't talk. Back to the news. Regionally, folks, we're following a couple of things. Regionally, we're following a couple of things, and on the COVID front, this is St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Minus Fort Gonzales, of course. It's a beautiful place. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they're telling us this morning. They're recording 2 COVID deaths amid an uptick in cases. It's not similar to what's happening here, right? It's not similar to what's happening here. We told you about the Wuhan, the Wuhan province virus, COVID-19, and what's happening in China. The fact the Chinese saying now that, you know, they got a real uptick in COVID. And one case is one too many, but China and Beijing and so on really got some issues. Never mind, I'd like to visit the Orient. Perhaps not right now, but Michaela Andrews, we see you there, Michaela. We see you there, Michaela. Good to see you. Anna Phillips, we see you as well. Want to recognize Anna, and I want to recognize that Siobhan has showed up this morning. Good to see you, Siobhan. As a matter of fact, great to see you. Great to see you, Siobhan. Yep, so that's what we're following in St. Vincent, so they're concerned about that. And of course, they're going to be taking the necessary step to curb that. Oh, y'all think we turned the corner in COVID? I tell y'all, continue to exercise all of the COVID-19 protocols. And then, very sad news. You got to social distance, wear your mask, sanitize, and all of that. All right? We've been through it. Pick up on it, folks, for your own safety, your friends, family, and loved ones, for their safety as well. And in Jamaica, I think it is. This is really sad. A man who's based out of the UK drowned in Jamaica along with a child. And this is sad on a number of fronts. On a number of fronts, brothers and sisters. Right? Because he was attempting to save this child, this UK citizen, who has been, I think, identified as, let me make sure I get it right, 34-year-old Remo Douglas. And he's said to be a warehouse operator in Bedford Street. You know, I can see some of you who are joining us right now from the UK. You sit up a little straighter there. Remo Douglas, 34 years old, warehouse attendant operator from Bedford Street in the UK. And in Jamaica, he is from Danks Savory District. Now, an 11-year-old, Brianna Sindale, she was having some difficulty in the water, and he was attempting to rescue her. Remo Douglas was attempting to rescue Brianna Sindale when he himself, sadly, encountered difficulties, and that was it. Just like that. That was it. He meant well, but it didn't end well, sadly. And folks, our thoughts and prayers with Remo Douglas's family, his friends, his loved ones. Perhaps you know him. Brianna Sindale, our thoughts and prayers go to her family as well. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers go to all of them. Yeah. He went to save her and ended up in trouble himself. And then there was nobody to save him. Right? He meant well. He meant well. Right? Died a hero trying to help 11-year-old. Yeah. Good to see Warren Figuera has joined us. Welcome, Warren and Michaela. Andrews, I see Shakira Phillips is here as well. Good morning, Shakira. I see Rajdi. Good to have you, Rajdi. That's a sad one for Christmas, boy. You know, you send a relative off to Jamaica for a couple of days and then comes back for different, you know. Again, the whole family's life is going to change just like that. You know, whole family life is going to change. That's how life is, you know. Moving fast. Thoughts and prayers go to that family, and we turn attention now to what's happening this side of the Atlantic. In our neck of the woods, in the 592. In the 592, remember the horrific story we're following of those two young people who were found shot up in a vehicle there in Canal number 2. Well, the pathologists have confirmed that they died from wounds inflicted from gunshot wounds. Yep, that is the postmortem result. The autopsies says that the couple found in Bell West, this is Canal number 2, right, confirms bullet wounds. And of course, it's a sad story. They're telling us that Peter Charles, the young man, shot Asasha Ramzan, his wife, twice in the head. You know, it's a desolated area there in Bell West. This is the area, right? That's actually the spot where the vehicle was found. It's a lonely area in Bell West. They tell us that couples go all the time down this dark street where they had the clay brick factory. And that what you're seeing there is the actual the track made from the car tires we were watching out there, where they were parked that awful morning. Right? And this is the clay brick factory you're seeing there in that area in Bell West. There was a clay brick factory there. And this is a lonely stretch of road. The residents who live to the front tell us couples go down at the back there all the time, of course, to have Bible study and so on. They go down that side to get to know each other better. And that was the area, the far end there, that Asasha Ramzan and Peter Charles, her husband, the body was found in their X-Trail vehicle. And he had, according to reports, a gunshot wound under his chin. And they were found in the vehicle. It was locked. Reports indicated they had to, police and so on, had to pry open the vehicle. And we're still trying to find out why. Why? They tell us that that Peter Charles was a barber. The folks we spoke to in that area indicated that he was no longer barbering. He was actually into construction. He was a contractor doing roads. And we know that Asasha Ramzan was a state counsel. She was an attorney at law, graduated in 2020, I think it was, and was admitted to the bar in the same year. And she worked out of the Attorney General's chamber. Beautiful young woman. We showed her a photograph there. Beautiful young woman. That is the area in which she met her demise. The folks saw them alive that morning. I think it was the 13th. The 13th of November, was it? They saw the couple last night around 7 in the morning. And then there was a woman in the area here who saw the vehicle, right? And then she said she saw a man pacing up and down. Apparently, it was Ramzan's brother who also had found the vehicle in that area there and was in shock. And we still no closer to finding out a motive why Peter Charles, right? Why Peter Charles killed his wife, shot her twice in the head in that vehicle. And they tell us that he was a licensed firearm holder. And sadly, he didn't use that weapon to protect his wife and family, but instead to inflict this kind of harm. Right? And we stopped in at the family house to get some of some comments from them, but they weren't willing and ready to talk with the media just yet, and we wanted to respect their privacy. Yeah, so the autopsy is telling us this morning that the couple was found at Bell West. They confirmed that they died from these wounds inflicted by the bullets. Thoughts and prayers again towards your family. Can be an easy time for them. Can be an easy time for them. And I want to echo what Sheila Boy Child is saying there in the comments. Leave my Guyanese sisters alone. Right? Walk away. Leave my Guyanese sisters alone. I want to echo those comments. Echo those comments. Beautiful young lady. Beautiful young lady. And they tell us that she was a wonderful soul. And sadly, guys, please help us here. Please help us. Thanks. Gone too soon. Regretfully. But good to see so many of you out. I see Gwyneth Anderson again agreeing with Sheila Boy Child. Leave our sisters alone. You don't have good intentions. You don't have any good intentions. Leave the sisters alone. Thanks very much. Right? I'm messing up the graphics, folks. I'm asking the guys here to help me because you're not a little paggly. A little paggly. Leave the sisters alone. You have a story for us? We want to hear from you guys. If you have a story for us, we want to hear from you guys as well. 627-6963. If you have a story for us, guys, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. 627-6963. Leave the people alone. Right? You got stories for us? We want to know. You got a business, a product, a service. A business, a product, a service, an event coming up. Let us know. We got some ad space for you. Advertise now, folks. Don't wait for the new year. Now. Do it now, folks. Do it now. Yep. We're circling back now to things at GCOM. As we told you last evening, the CEO of GCOM, Vishnu Prasad, he has to now work on a report for the commission with some timelines. They've postponed nomination there, canceled nomination there, however you want to phrase that, because of all the foolishness they're really doing there. Nigel Damlal, Minister of Local Government and Regional Development, took upon himself to demarcate and redemarcate boundaries for a lot of constituencies. Well, GCOM, being faced with a court case, being faced with litigation, suddenly realized that he had no authority to do so. Suddenly realized he had no authority to do so. And so the CEO and his staff, they're now tasked with doing that, and he is to submit a report on when. Do we have those shots of GCOM? You were down there. Right? On when they're going to have one nomination day and then everything flowing from that. And ultimately, what is the next day? Because there was local government election was slated for the 13th day of March in 2023. Right? And if they have their will, you're going to see December next year. We're still talking about the holding of and hosting of local government elections. And quite interestingly, I saw some comments attributed to C.S. Gunraj on this very issue, who says that they still believe that the local government minister acted lawfully. The People's Progressive Party appointed commissioners. They still believe that the local government minister acted lawfully. But this is strange Because if they believe now that GCOM is usurping the function of the minister, why don't they take GCOM to court? Right? They believe he acted lawfully, but they allow the process to go ahead. You see foolishness? And here's where it gets even more bizarre. The GCOM commissioners, they are telling us, trying to convince us that is the opposition that wants to delay the holding of LGE. Right? It's the opposition. It's not Claudette who is siding with the opposition members historically. Right? It's historic. This one instance. He had no right to demarcate, and the list that GCOM published was the wrong list. But it is the opposition who's trying to delay local government, because we publish the list. It's we do the demarcation that we had no authority to do. It's the opposition. You gotta love these boys though. They're gonna come out and lie through the teeth. They're gonna come out and lie without shame. You know? They can come out and lie without shame. Shamelessly, folks. They come out and lie. And this is one we got our pulse on. We got our finger on the pulse. And we can keep you guys updated. We spoke to Senior Counsel Royce-Dale Ford on this very issue of the list and boundaries and the shenanigans happening at GCOM. And this is what Senior Counsel Royce-Dale Ford told us quite recently. And as you know, it is Royce-Dale Ford, Senior Counsel, Attorney at Law, who brought that case on behalf of Kyle Smith Joseph, the chief scrutineer for the opposition, that set this whole train of actions into motion, with them cancelling nomination day and scrapping the lists, and now trying to redemarcate the boundaries better and properly. So we're going to be watching that, folks. And folks are saying that GCOM is going to more than likely follow Damilal's lead. He was wrong to do it, but of course, GCOM know what is the intention of the PPP, right? And they're going to follow his lead on that. We're watching that. This is what Royce-Dale Ford told us recently.
Aware that GCOM recently issued a press statement indicating that they would be deferring or cancelling nomination date, which is supposed to be the 12th of December, 2012. But I believe at this stage, we are not in a position to really rejoice at this time. The same statement issued by GCOM indicates that at this time, they still intend to pursue the provisions of Section 24A of the Local Government Act to resolve and to correct the list. I believe that GCOM continues to go down a road that will lead to a list which is still not in compliance with the local government election law. The list as prepared by GCOM was not prepared under the local government elections law. No order was made under Section 8 of the local government elections law. They purported to act under Section 5.6 of the Election Laws Amendment Act, which deals with a list prepared under the Election Laws Act and provisions associated with that act under the Representation of the People's Act. So at this time, I believe that GCOM, whilst they would have recognized that the list is flawed, the list is bad, the list is bloated, the list is dirty, and it cannot be used in its current format, I believe that the efforts and mechanisms that they intend to employ to correct the list cannot result in a list which is still acceptable and in accordance with the legal provisions governing a list of register of voters prepared under the Local Government Act. GCOM seems also to have come to the conclusion that the Minister of Local Government could not exercise the power to demarc constituencies within local authority areas. So there are two substantial areas which GCOM would have turned and altered their position in this regard. So the first thing that GCOM should be doing, and the Guyanese people should be calling for, is a new chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission. We should be calling for a new chief elections officer of the Guyana Elections Commission. They have presided over this catastrophe, this embarrassment, and this mess. So we can't necessarily ask them to correct it. Even in this process of correction, they're still erring substantially in a manner that cannot result in a list being properly in compliance with the law. In terms of the Guyanese people and what they need to do, they need to go to the regional offices, go to GCOM offices, and point out people who are not in your communities. Every person that remains on the list, every person who's not ordinarily resident in your community, is the source of substantial fraud, is the source of potential substitute voting, and that cannot be allowed in your community. The existence of those persons on any list destroys your right, destroys your voice, and destroys your choice. This is about local government elections. This is about your protection of your rights in your communities. Is that under the general and regional election system, the laws were passed, I believe, on the basis of the acknowledgement of a residency requirement. The local government elections law specifically says in a much more greater and clearer way that residency is a requirement for you to exercise your franchise in the context of a local authority area. So there was a great consistency between what the law says or said in relation to residency, both at the general and regional elections level and at the local authority level. And the laws proceeded on that basis. Even Section 5.6, which they're purporting to use of the Election Laws Amendment Act, proceeded on the basis that resident and being resident in an area was a requirement. In 2018, the PPP, through Nandalal, I believe, filed a legal proceedings in the name of Christopher Ram and the Attorney General, when for the first time the Chief Justice concluded that under our Constitution and in accordance with our electoral laws, that residency was not a requirement. So the requirement for an election at the national and regional level no longer included the laws in relation to residency. So whilst residency remained in Section 5.6 of the Election Laws Amendment Act, in relation to local government extraction of a list, because that section says that GCOM, if it wishes to exercise its discretion, can use a list prepared for national and regional elections for that purpose. So that requirement of residency no longer existed. So by extracting that list in which those elements are no longer present and applying it to local government elections, where in the context of that law, residency is the greatest determining factor, that list cannot be used for local government elections. Further, it is important to observe that the section under which they purported to act is a section that provides GCOM with the authority, if it wishes, to proceed to extract a list which now is no longer premised on residency, to use it for local government elections, when there is a specific law, the local government election laws, which specifically provide that residency is a requirement. This means that GCOM is being given by these laws the power to determine the qualifying factors for qualifying under these local government elections. Because 2016 election was done on the basis of the Local Government Elections Act, where residency was a requirement. On the basis of the 2018 local government elections, the same thing occurred. But at this elections, GCOM purports to exercise a power which was never used before in a law passed in 2000. That is why I went back to the little historical analysis as to what it meant in the context of residency. So they're now using a law which now referred then to residency, but no longer refers to residency, to be used in a law now, in a legal regime that requires residency as a requirement. So GCOM effectively, by that change in interpretation of the law by the Chief Justice, is able to determine different standards, different qualifying standards for persons to vote at different elections. If this was allowed to happen at these elections, it would have been on the basis of everybody on the list, because that is what effectively the Chief Justice said. So the next elections, another commission could have said, listen, we want to now go on to the local government elections law. We can't have an electoral system without that degree of stability and permanence and consistency which is required in an electoral law. GCOM can't be the authority to alter at its whims and fancies and its discretion what would be the criteria for persons to be allowed to vote at local government elections.
Yeah, you heard it. I think that was so comprehensive, dealing with boundaries, dealing with the list, and dealing with the residency requirement to even get on the list for local government. So a number of things Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford deals with in that excerpt there, and I think that's why we call it the Senior Counsel. He got all that knowledge and all that brain. And he's been winning a lot of cases, before the High Court, winning a lot of the cases. And on the other hand, Not so much. Not so much. We turn attention to, folks, to the big issue this morning, the State House incident. The State House incident. This is one we've been treading very cautiously on. Very cautiously on. The State House incident. You all remember that? The shooting there at State House, and unfortunately, we're so happy for his family safe. Right? Therefore, his family is safe. We're so happy. We turn our attention here because more questions than answers have arisen. You all know what we're talking about? You all remember at State House, they said a Nigerian fella, some folks, it was a Haitian guy. We don't know because nobody telling us. The authorities are not telling us really what transpired there. So we don't really know. We want to know, but we don't really know. This is some of what took place at the State House a few days ago.
Should I look over the car? Drop the gun, boy! Drop the gun! He drop it, he drop it! Which one is this, boy? This fucking man's problem. I got my children in the car, you know. I got my children in this car. Scunt is this? This man is my friend, Buckman.
The shooty?
Yeah.
That is the
Why did they kill this man? They're supposed to kill this man.
This what you do.
I see the man go in front and start shooting. I sit down in the car watching, you know. The man go in front of the president gate and start shooting.
In front of the
You hear
president.
what I'm telling you?
Yeah. That is how some of the action there at State House went down, and they're telling us that this Nigerian Haitian fella, the update we have for you, that he remains in a critical condition. He was shot, and among other things, and he's in a critical condition at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation. Ayabo, thanks for that contribution, Ayabo. Ayabo Congraves, we see you there, Ayabo. Thanks so much for that contribution. He's in a critical state, and he remains in a critical condition, guys, remains in a critical condition at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation there. That's the first bit of update. But it's what Starbucks News, folks, said in its editorial this morning that we think requires some discussion, because as I said, lots of questions, more than we have answers, and the authorities are trying to spin this as though this was an attempted assassination on the first family or on Irfan Ali himself. But again, you don't see the kinds of things that go with the kind of urgency and the kind of state of emergency that would ensue with the attempted assassination of a head of state. We don't hear anything. It drips out of the authorities. You at the bare minimum, you would have expected to see a comprehensive press conference. You would have expected to hear at least from the head of the Presidential Guard by now as to what were the challenges they had on that day, because this is a fellow who seemed to have disarmed two presidential guards, really and truly, if you believe the account, and created quite a lot of mayhem there, and showed a lot of gaps in the security system down there at State House. A lot of gaps, right, in that security system. And so again, what was his motives? What was he after? And I'm not going to pretend, right, that this story concerning, is it Dec.20 is the name of the gentleman, Dec.20. I'm not gonna pretend as though we're not hearing this was some kind of the other story we're hearing. This was man and woman story as we see it locally, and the presidential guard was with his woman, and that's another school of thought we're hearing out there. But again, the authorities not coming out and say anything. The situation then becomes ripe for conjecture. And here's what Starbuck News is saying this morning in an editorial that is aptly titled "The State House Incident and Information." Again, making the point that in the absence of credible information, it leaves the public to come up with all of these fantastic stories and really and truly fill in the blanks. So here is Starbuck News, guys. Put the graphic for us. Here is Starbuck News in the editorial this morning, saying that the incident on Thursday now requires far more information from the head of the Presidential Guard, the Guyana Police Force, the Ministry of Home Affairs, and the government on what transpired. That's Starbuck News. And what will now be done to ensure no occurrences, no reoccurrences, right? But again, the state media apparatus is silent. Of course, they ain't doing no independent analysis. They ain't doing no independent investigative journalistic work. They're going to be handed a script and they just go and report on that because, they don't function independently. They got to be directed. But this is Starbuck News, who operates differently. How do we ensure there's not a recurrence? Starbuck News goes on to say this: the stabbing of a presidential guard, the disarming of another, and the shootout, all involving one person. Right? Please tell me this man is paramilitary or ex-military. Please don't tell me it's so easy. Tell me he's ex-military, paramilitary, something. I heard one stupid politician, right, and one very, very stupid birdness social commentator trying to put this under the opposition. Right? What stupidity. But that being said, do tell me, please, I beg y'all, that this man is ex-military. Tell me he's ex-special forces, ex-commando, ex-Justice League, something. Starbuck News making the point for us: the stabbing of a presidential guard, the disarming of another, and the shootout, all involving one person, present a dire picture of the security at State House. A dire picture. Folks, thanks, guys. Folks, listen. If everybody want me to come in for me, I just want to put it out there. God forbid. Like all them boys in Haiti wanted Jovenel Moïse. If they want me, they can get me. Right? So all y'all big family with 40 vehicles and all this nonsense, y'all can show up the day in which you should have understood the assignment you found wanting. We have not heard a peep out of the head of the Presidential Guard. What went wrong with security? Don't just tell me about beefing up nonsense. Right? Out front parts, at least tell me this guy is Rambo, Black Rambo or something like that. Right? On the very day in which the Presidential Guards should have understood the assignment. If you tell me some two-bit guard service guard in the State House, I'm going to say, all right, we have to get better than that. But these guys supposed to be the best of the best. Please, I'm begging you out. Tell me this guy is ex-military or current military, somewhere, somehow, something. Do tell me that. But there's Sabak News making the point. Sabak News goes on, finally, in this editorial saying, making the point again, the guys are going to put up the graphic for us. Sabak News again making the point, the public must also be provided with as much information as possible on the assailant. When he first entered the country, what was his purpose for being here? And the various permits he applied for and which were granted or denied, making the point that we have to know, and in the absence of credible information and the absence of valid information, then speculations are rife. You know the other thing I notice here? Now, you see what's in red here? That's the Sabak News header for the editorial. The State House incident. But I've noticed them boys playing up this assassination thing. They say Sabak News are very credible newspapers. You know, sometimes they get a little thing too. But for the most part, right? Sabak News could have easily said the State House attempted assassination. But Sabak News characterizes it as the State House incident. Right? But then boys really, really trying here. Without giving us the facts, they've already concluded. Right? That a man in all his sanity went to state with a knife to a gunfight. But apparently this man can do more to knife than people with all the guns. In the absence of credible, valid information, people are going to come up with all of their own conjectures. People are going to come up with all their own narratives, and the state is not helping because they're saying nothing. What is Kwame being paid for? What do we have a whole DPI for? I see Don Cook says Nancy story. Sheila Boychild saying it's RoboCop. Right? Don Cook said this is Marie. Right? Sheila Boychild adds that let's go to Ramson Sr. for the information. And he can direct you back to the minister. The minister will go to Ramson go back to the minister. Marie. Sabak News is making the point, I think, very, very slightly here. Right? There is a whole bunch of foolishness happening. Give us the information. What we get the whole of DPI for? The whole of NCN, Chronicle. What's that under for? Right? Them boys said they raid someplace he used to work. They raid the house, and we don't know what happened there. What was anointed? Right? This kind of information should be treated with urgency. Every day, you should have a press briefing on what are the latest findings. But just like Twitter form, right? Them boys got inside. Right? They got inside and lock up everything. They go on inside and lock up everything. That being said, folks, Marie. It's a puzzle. Right? This is an enigma wrapped in a mystery. What really transpired? It's last Thursday, you know, almost a week later, we're still waiting to find out who is this fella? What were his motives? And why was there such a breakdown in the security apparatus at State House? Right? We're asking for a country, not even for ourselves. We're asking for a country. That being said, folks, that being said, we're happy the first family is safe. We're happy that the presidential guard who was badly wounded in this whole episode, he's receiving a necessary treatment, and we hope that he pulls through and make a full recovery and let justice be done to the other fellow. You know, let justice be done. And we want to know the truth. As a country, we deserve the truth. We deserve it. Thanks for joining us, folks. We're going to see you back here a little later on. It depends on how we got the People's National Congress Reform Press Conference that's coming up during the course of lunch, and depends on what time that concludes. We're going to know if we're going to have a podcast at 12 or we're just going to wait for the evening program and let you know as you guys are here. Usually, if the press conference goes close to 1, we tend not to have the podcast. Right? If it goes close to 1. Good. If it concludes earlier, we're going to see you guys right back here. Right? Save it and sip. And except something else intervenes. Good. But the press conference for the People's National Congress reform is coming up, I think, at 11:30, and then it goes on sometime close to 1. Good. So tune into that as well. And we're going to see you guys definitely back here at 8, folks. And thanks for joining us. You showed up in your numbers. Thanks so much for joining us. And as Chisel Chipper says, share it live. Share it live, folks. You can share it back to Facebook. You can share it back to WhatsApp. And where else you guys share the information. Thanks for joining us. And folks, we can't do this without you. So remember to partner with us as well. Good folks, partner with us as well. And also, you know what you got to do. You know what you got to do. Partner with us as well, good folks. We are available by Cash App, Zelle, PayPal, MMG, MoneyGram, and Western Union as well. Take good care. We'll see you guys back very soon. Stay safe.